What is up, y'all? I'm back with another plugin review today, and it is another one from my good friends over at Aurora DSP. They were kind enough to send over to me the new Laboga Mr. Hector Suite. Now, Mr. Hector Suite has been around for a while, but this is a total revamp of the entire suite. Lots of cool new stuff added to it, including a lot of the new technology that they're using within the plugins. And yes, Aurora DSP was kind enough to send this plugin over to me for free so that I could demo it for all of you, although no money is being exchanged here and I'm not being paid to make this video. Just wanted to be very upfront about that. So that being said, there is an affiliate link down in the description below if you decide to buy this or any other plugins from Aurora DSP. It does help me out greatly and it costs you nothing to use that link instead of going to their website normally. But let's move on, shall we? Now, upon opening the Laboga Mr. Hector Suite, you're presented with this beast of an amp here. And this is all running on their entirely new DriveNet neural modeling network, and it sounds sick, honestly. Obviously, it looks sick. We always know they do great with the artwork over at Aurora DSP. But let's go ahead and take a listen to how it sounds. You've got a lot going on here. So just to get a quick peek across the board here, in the pedal section, you have an all-new overdrive, which is not based on your generic tube screamer. It's actually really cool overdrive. Then you do have an awesome fuzz pedal that does have an octave fuzz option on it as well. Then you have a crunch booster, which is basically, it sounds like a clean boost to me. It's a really cool pedal. And then you do have your pre-EQ pedal. And again, I love that they keep including the pre-EQ pedals in their plugins. Very clutch, very, very useful. Over in the amp section, you do have the 100 watt high gain beast, which is the Mr. Hector Duo Master. Ridiculous amp, but then we can also click over to the Beast, which is a little 30 watt amp here, which is great for crunch. And honestly, I got some good gain out of it as well using the overdrive. It's a really cool little amp head. Over in the cabinet section, we got a lot going on here. We got a lot to cover really quickly because I don't want to waste all of your time. I want to get straight to the guitar tones after this. But we do have a ton of different cabs. So we have the DS412, we have the V30, we have VET412. So basically you have 6 different cabs and then you've got the 4 different microphones to choose from there, which you can then move around to the different parts of the cone as you could on the previous generations of Aurora DSP plugins. Now you also have a stereo cab option up here, which is really cool, especially if you're wearing headphones or playing through stereo speakers. It creates a really, really nice effect. Also, especially when you're using the stereo effects at the end of the chain here. Then you do have their new SpeakerX button up here too. So SpeakerX is their DSP engine that simulates the non-linearity that happens with real speakers. And so that goal is to give you that more realistic, like air pushing sound that you would get from, standing in the room with a real speaker cabinet and microphone. And it does it by adding subtle and more natural coloration saturation to the speaker tone. So it sounds a little bit more realistic and less like lifeless, I guess you can say. And it's nice because you do have a mix knob for that as well. So you can use a little bit of it, you can use a lot of it, or you can just click it and turn it back off. Now, in true Aurora DSP fashion, we do have a ton of post effects going on here as well. We do have the post EQ, which does have a little drive saturation knob on it. We have the good old sonic maximizer, which I still don't know what these do. I just like the way they sound. You do have a limiting amplifier and then a leveling amplifier. All of these are incredible additions to a plugin like this because it means you can do everything within the plugin itself and not have to add a ton of other plugins to your chain using up CPU power. Another of my favorite features, if you've watched any of the other Aurora DSP reviews that I've done, is that they include the graphic EQ section right here as well as its own standalone plugin within the plugin essentially. And so you don't need to bust out Pro Q4 or any of your other EQ plugins. You can do it all right here, which we will get into in just a second. And lastly, we do have all of our time-based effects, the chorus, the tremolo, delay, and reverb. These are all great studio-grade effects that are fantastic to have in here. Again, pretty much anything that you could possibly need to build your guitar tone. That being said, let's go ahead and dive into some of the guitar tones that I built using this brand new Laboga Mr. Hector Suite. All right, so before we get started, I am using my new GOC Guitars Vajra Plus. This is the new version of the guitar, and it does have their new Ryui pickups inside of it as well. So this is what I'll be using for the extent of this plugin demo. I just felt like a 7-string was necessary for the Mr. Hector Amp Suite. And yes, I'm gonna use it on the clean tones and everything as well. I've been playing a lot of 7-string lately, and it was just feeling right for me. So let's go ahead and check out first my high gain rhythm and lead preset that I've made within this plugin. Pretty sick, right? It's very heavy, but cuts through at the same time. So let's go ahead and look at it and see what we're doing here. Over in the pedal section, I do have the drive turned on, tone is cranked, gain is off, and then the volume is about halfway. And we are using the little optimizer pedal as well, and it sounds pretty good. I have it very, very low settings here. And then over on the EQ pedal, we are subtracting a little bit of 100 and 200 hertz, and then we are boosting slightly 1K and 3.2K, and nothing on the output there. So if we turn off the pedal section, this is what the amp sounds like on its own. Pretty good, right? It sounds really crunchy and really good on its own, but then we turn the pedal section back on. And it really, really cuts through the low end of a 7-string there. It just sounds really pleasing to the ear. Over on the amp section here, very, very basic settings. I left almost everything in the middle. Actually, I did leave everything but the middle in the middle. We do have the mid switch flipped up, and then we have the volume left in the middle as well. And then I have actually brought the gain down and switched to the high input. Over in the cab section, I'm using the DS412 on both sides, but we're using the Ribbon 121 a little bit closer to the cone, and then the SM57 really far on the outer side of the cone. Not a way I would normally use it. It just sounded good to me. Over in the post effects, we do have the EQ pedal going, we have the maximizer going, and we do have the limiting amplifier. I did not turn on the leveling amplifier just because it's not needed for jamming through. Over in the EQ section here, you'll notice that we've got a low and high cut, and then we do have a boost at, what do we got a boost at over here? 5 kilohertz, I should say. We have a boost of 4.1 dB, so we're doing a pretty drastic boost there. And then we are cutting right around, 5.6 kilohertz actually. We're doing a very steep cut. And so let me turn off this EQ real quick and show you why I like to have this built into the plugin. So that's without it, and here it is with it. All right, so we didn't have any time effects on yet, so let's go ahead and turn on the time effects, right? And we'll go ahead and play my version of some leads, but just so you can hear the delay and the reverb. Extra points if you can guess that song. If you can't guess that song, we probably can't be friends. But the reverb and delay definitely do the trick here. It's about all the leads you're getting out of me today, okay, y'all? All right, so that is my high gain rhythm and lead tone that I've made. Let's go ahead and switch over to a crunch tone, which I only built this crunch tone recently because I'm writing a song that uses it. So go figure, right? But we're using the Beast for this one. And if we go over to the pedal section, all I have turned on right now is the EQ pedal itself. Amp section is over on the clean channel, and we have the gain brought down, but we have the character knob turned on. So we are actually using a little bit of actual gain, which is put it on the crunch channel basically. Over in the cab section, we do have the MT212 and then the 412 with vintage 30s. Again, with the 121 and the SM57, that just seems to be a good combo for me. And then we are doing a little bit of EQ, just a high and low cut, and then a notch down at, what are we doing this notch at? 2.3 kilohertz, and that's it. And so over in the time effects, we'll get into those in a second. Also worth noting that I do have the stereo cab feature turned on. I just really was digging how it sounds, so. Very, very pleasing sound to my ears. Let's go ahead and turn on the time effects now. So as you can hear, that's almost a clean tone, but the harder that I play, the more it breaks up and the dirtier it gets. So it's definitely well within the crunch realm, especially if I play some power chords here. So it's sounding sick. It's a very, very inspiring crunch tone to play through. The only thing that I wish that it had on this, and this is not a dig at the brand or anything like that, I just wish that on the clean channel of the Beast, so the smaller amp, I wish that this was a global treble, bass, and middle. But honestly, that can all be achieved with, you know, the post EQ and the pre EQ pedals anyways, and by messing around with the impulse responses. So can't really complain about it. It's just would be nice to have kind of thing. Let's take a listen to that without the character or the crunch knob turned on real quick. So this is without it. So it cleans up very nicely, and as it should, as a 30-watt amp, it should have a lot of headroom for really great clean tones, and it does. It sounds really, really good. I just liked it with that character knob on. That crunch that it gives is just... It almost gave my guitar like a single coil kind of sound, and I have not coil split this guitar yet. So it's a really, really sick sound. Let's check out a real clean tone though, shall we? All right, so here we're going back to the 100-watt Mr. Hector Duo Master. Again, ridiculous amp. We're on the low input this time and on the clean channel with the bright switch turned on. So now one of the perks of using the 100-watt head on here is it does allow you to use the 3-band EQ on the amp itself for both channels. So it works whether I'm on the lead channel or on the clean channel. And so if I wanted to, I could boost the bass and duck the mids a little bit, so on and so forth, without having to use a post EQ. I'm gonna leave it alone because I ended up using the post EQ anyways. And so I don't know why I complained about that on the regular like Little Beast amp on here. And yeah, that's just where we're at with it. So let's go ahead and take a listen, and then we'll go through the settings on here too. All right, let's go for some neck pickup action. It's been a long time since I've played that. That's such a damn good song. Name that song, y'all. I'm gonna keep doing this to you. Name that song, or we can't be friends. So that's a very simple, very straightforward, almost ambient clean tone there. So what we're working with is nothing in the pedal section. Turned everything off, no EQ, no nothing. On the amp, we already checked that out. We got to see the settings there. We have the gain really far down, 1.5 on it, and then we have the bright switch turned off. And then we have left the EQ alone, the mid switch is still turned on. On the cab section, we are using the DMN 412, again with the 121. The 121 that they were using to mic all these up just sounds so crisp. A little bit further towards the edge of the cone this time, and then an SM57 legit right on the cone. And we do have the stereo cab option turned on yet again. Over in the post effects, we do have the EQ turned on, we have the maximizer turned on, and we do have the limiting amplifier turned on. Over in the EQ, again, basic, high and low, and then we're ducking right at 2.7, and then we are boosting a shelf at 4. And then in the effects, we only had the reverb on there. So no other time effects at all going on there. And it just sounded good to me. That's the preset that I made for the clean / ambient clean. I know it's not quite an ambient clean, but it's one that I would like to play for the style of clean riffs that I like to write. So it works for me, you know? All right, so what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna turn on the SpeakerX feature. We're back in my high gain rhythm preset. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn off the post-processing here. Okay, so that's off. Let's go back to the cab section and turn on SpeakerX, and we're gonna play around with the amounts of it to let you hear what it's doing. is off again. So I don't know if y'all are wearing headphones or not, but I am, obviously. And I can definitely hear what that's doing in my headphones. The more I crank it, the less I like it. I liked it more around the 50% range, which is where they keep it when you first turn it on. And the less I have on of it, the less I like it as well, because it's obviously going back to just the normal guitar signal at that point. And so I have no clue how it works or what it's doing behind there, but it does add a pleasing color to the guitar tone itself. It may not work in every situation for the tone that you're working on, but I do highly suggest you turn it on and give it a try, because it's fun at the very least. It sounds good to me for the riffs that I was playing, for the settings that I had it on. But y'all can let me know down in the comments what you think about it. But that is it. That is the Laboga Mr. Hector Suite from Aurora DSP. I hope that I was able to get to the guitar tones for y'all quick enough to help you decide if you want to purchase this or not. If you do decide to purchase it, please do so using the link down in my description below. It is an affiliate link and it helps me out greatly if you decide to purchase this plugin with my link. That being said, let me know what other questions you might have about this plugin. As always, I'm more than happy to revisit the plugins and do further videos to show people what they're capable of. And until next time, peace and love, and I will talk to you on the next one.